Welcome to the Line Change. In this video, we are going to be talking about what actually happened on trade deadline day on Friday, as there's a lot of conflicting rumors going around. The Canucks were never offered a first round pick. We're hearing that from Elliot Friedman. We're hearing something completely different from Rick Dhaliwal, who's saying that the Carolina Hurricanes did offer the Canucks a first round pick for Brock Besser. And then you have Patrick Allvin going out there and basically saying we didn't get anything that we thought was valuable. The value that we had for our players, people weren't meeting. So we're going to go over an article that was posted on Canucks Army by Quads, and it really details what exactly happened. So we're going to go through this, and it involves the Canucks, and for the most part, the Canucks and the Carolina Hurricanes. It does involve slightly the Florida Panthers. Obviously, we just mentioned Patrick Allvin's statement after the deadline, basically saying there wasn't much of a market for the Canucks players and that the offers for Besser in particular were so bad that he couldn't even divulge them. But who did these offers come from? It says here, sources indicated that the Florida Panthers were at the very least interested in Besser, though the contents of their offer, or if it even got as far as them making a competitive offer, is not known. What we do know is that the Panthers' interest quickly dried up when they learned they could get Brad Marchand from Boston for a conditional second-round pick, even if that pick is highly likely to turn into a first-rounder. The article goes on to say, is it possible that Allvin's frustration with the offers he got for Besser primarily stemmed from his conversations with Florida and maybe other teams? Certainly it's possible. It does seem at this juncture that the Carolina Hurricanes were the team most interested in trading for Brock Besser. So that's the little bit in regards to Florida. Clearly they had interest in Besser, and then once they saw that Brad Marchand was available, they quickly pivoted and chose him over Besser, essentially taking themselves out of the running for Besser. In regards to Carolina, it says here the Hurricanes GM Eric Tulsky did say that Carolina ran out of time to move some of their assets in exchange for a player. Obviously, everyone knows Hurricanes traded Rantanen to the Dallas Stars, and that was a lengthy process dating back to the night before. And while they did well to recoup assets lost in the original deal with Colorado, Dallas dragging their feet on finalizing the deal while they worked out the extension with Rantanen's camp essentially held the Canes hostage on deadline day. So the Hurricanes weren't really able to do anything else. Their main focus was getting the Rantanen deal done, and they were essentially handcuffed. The article continues and says, as a result, all Carolina was able to accomplish in their attempt to load up for the playoffs was walk away with 2 first-round picks and Logan Stankoven, a young and promising but still unproven NHL player. They likely would have felt good about flipping one of those picks for Besser. And one of those picks being a first-round pick, because they got 2 first-round picks for Mikko Rantanen. And then the article continues to go on and say, so what happened? It says, according to multiple sources, Carolina and Vancouver talked earlier in the day, with the Canes telling the Canucks that they needed to finalize the deal with Dallas, but would be walking away from that deal with at least 1 first-round pick, which they would then flip to the Canucks. When the Canes eventually called the Canucks, maybe even as soon as 20 minutes before the noon Pacific deadline, offering the first-round pick the two sides previously talked about, it appears that it was too late for the Canucks. The reason for that is unknown, and a wide range of possibilities could be at play. It could have been that the Canucks couldn't get another deal worked out in time that would have returned them a roster player. It could have been that the club felt better about their chances to sign Besser down the stretch of the season. It could have been that the Canucks didn't want to retain money on Besser. Heck, the hang-up for the Canucks could have been that they wanted a different first-round pick than the one the Canes were offering, since Carolina got 2 back in the deal with Dallas. The point we're trying to make here is that there could have been any number of reasons why the Canucks didn't accept the Canes' offer, which we believe included a first-round pick. These things are never truly black and white, and this one seems to have a lot of gray. So Canucks technically did get an offer for a first round pick, despite what Elliot Friedman is saying, and others. They both Atlanta just ran out of time, and it's hard to trade for, or rather, flip draft picks at the trade deadline because you have a deadline. It's much easier to do it in season or in the off season because there is no deadline to do it. So maybe that factored into the decision for the Canucks, is they knew they didn't have time to flip the draft pick, and that the Rantanen negotiations trade took way too long to go through, and they didn't want to do anything before that trade went through. It was basically like a domino effect. No, it was the catalyst for this deal not happening for Brock Besser. But we also may never know the reason exactly, as the Canucks probably won't ever admit it. They may not even say anything about it. We don't even know if Carolina will admit to this at all. But it is believed that the Hurricanes did offer up a first round pick for Besser, but it was too little, too late in the final moments of the deadline. And then the article goes on to say, and all parties have Dallas to thank for that, even if the Stars didn't do it intentionally. And yeah, and that is the article there. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out yourselves, give it a read. It's a really, really good read from Quads. I've been actually reading a lot of his stuff lately. So Quads, if you see this, keep up the good work. And yeah, so that is supposedly what actually happened on deadline day, which makes it odd that Patrick Allvin would say the things that he said, and then you're hearing something completely different from Elliot Friedman, something different from Rick Dhaliwal. Like, you have all these conflicting sources saying different things, and it still doesn't answer the question, why didn't Besser get traded? And we still do not know the actual official answer. The only people who know that answer are Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford. They're the ones with the answer, and they're clearly not willing to divulge that answer. And I know I've seen on Twitter some people going out and calling out Allvin for lying to the media and to the fan base. But, and then I also heard from Dhaliwal as well, I believe it was this morning, that, what was it, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, the Canucks attempted to offer Besser another extension. And they also apparently went to Besser on Friday, on deadline day itself, and attempted to offer him a extension as well, but no other details about that. And yeah, and then all this recent stuff with Brock Besser having the A removed from his jersey in the game the other night. I'm not really looking too much into that. We've seen the A rotate around, especially when Quinn's been out of the lineup. I mean, who remembers JT Miller giving his A to Tyler Myers when he hit a certain milestone in his career? JT Miller willingly gave Tyler Myers the A. So there's that. But, people are going to think it's disrespecting Besser. It's just another disrespectful and slap in the face of Brock Besser. And then I also saw, I believe, I can't remember exactly who it was. It may have been Dan Riccio of Canucks Central, basically saying the events of Friday are basically is proof. It's, it basically, based on what happened on that day, it means Besser's going to walk. At least, that's what the thought is. We still don't know if Besser's going to resign or not. Besser made it clear, what was it, the other day, that he's willing to continue to negotiate. He's willing to sign an extension for the right price. What that is, I don't know. He already turned down $8 million for 5 years. Maybe the Canucks have to go up to 6. Maybe that'll get get the deal done. But I digress. But that's going to do it for this video. A little bit of a shorter one this time, as I happened to stumble upon this article and I was like, we should talk about this, as it's a very interesting story and a lot of people are talking about it specifically today and within the last couple days anyway. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the Line Change, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You really help out the channel. And you also, if you hit that little bell icon, you get notified every time we put up a new video. So there's that. And go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of this article. What do you guys think about the differing tales from Dollywall, from Frank Cervelli, from Elliot Friedman, all these differing stories about whether or not the Canucks were actually offered a first round pick by any team, not just Carolina. What do you guys think? Like, this is odd that we have so many conflicting stories centered around essentially one team and what they did at the deadline and what's going on. But it's a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, again, go ahead and drop a comment down below. As I mentioned, I'll leave a link to the article in the description. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.